All right. Well, hello, students. This is Mr. Rich, and this is our live stream to do an ACT test tonight. So I'm going to work through a complete ACT test tonight, and I'm going to think out loud while I do it, as though I'm really taking the test. And I'll pause every 10 questions to go over the answers to those, and then if there are some live students here, I will allow you to ask questions on those 10 questions that I just completed. And if there's anything that I want to mention in particular about how I solved that problem, I'll go back and hit those. So we'll stop after every 10 questions, okay? If you are joining me on the replay on this, if you would hit the like button so I know that you came in, and feel free to leave a comment for me to know that you checked in on this video. So the test that I'm going to be doing tonight is one of the more recent tests that have been released. And this test is, I believe it's the E26 test that I think was one of the most recent ones that was released by ACT. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to jump right into it, okay? Now, let's share the screen, and so you can see me down there at the bottom, and I'm going to work through this. Now, I do have a timer. Let me pull my timer up. I do want to get that on here so we can time ourselves. I had a really good timer. Let's see if I can locate that again. Where did that go? Let's take it over here. I do not have a timer, unfortunately. Let's see if I can find where that went to. I apologize. Okay, so if you're just joining, feel free to check in and say hi, putting a comment in the comment section. But I'm getting ready to start E26, the ACT test. I don't have a timer, so we're just going to do this without a timer. I'm going to do it within 60 minutes. Again, this video will take probably a little longer than that because I am going to stop every 10 questions and go over the answers to see if I got them right and give you a chance to ask any questions. So here we go. I'm going to dive right in, and we are going to question 1. Here it comes. There we go. So question 1 says that given that x equals 5, y equals 3, and z is equal to -6, what is x plus y minus z times y plus z? All right, so I am going to fill this in. So I'm going to say it's 5 plus 3 minus a -6, and that would be multiplied by 3 plus a -6. So that's going to turn that positive. So that's going to be 8 and 6 is 14. And 3 minus 6 is a -3. That is a -42. I'm going with A. Let me just double check here and make sure I didn't make any mistakes. I see that. Looks good. Y plus C, 3 plus minus 6, -3. Okay, yep, I like that answer. Let's go to number 2. Each student attending the East Central High School pre-prom dinner must choose one item from each of the 3 categories: an entree, a side dish, and beverage. There are 3 entrees, 4 side, 2 beverage. Okay, this is a typical question where I'm just multiplying my options that I'm choosing at each one of the categories. So this is 3 times 4 times 2. Okay, so that is 24. All right, let me make sure that, so we're choosing one item from the 3 categories. I got 3 numbers, 3, 4, and 2. Yep, I like that answer. Let's go to number 3. A bag contains 13 solid colored marbles, 3 red, 5 white, 4 black, and 1 yellow. If only one marble is selected, what's the probability of randomly selecting a marble that is not black? So it's got 13 marbles, so I'm going to have 13 in my denominator. Not black. That would be not black. That would not be, and that would be, there's 4 blacks, so 13. So that would be 9 out of 13, D. All right, I like that answer. Let's go to number 4. Sam works at Glendale Hospital and earns $12 per hour for the first 40 hours and $18 per hour for every additional hour he works each week. Last week, Sam earned $570. To the nearest whole number, how many hours did he work? Well, I'm going to kind of work this backwards. I'm going to take 40 times 12, which is 480. Okay, so he had to have made 480 on the first 40 hours, and I'll take that away from the 570. That leaves me 90. And so then he would have made $90 working $18 per hour. And how many times does 18 go into 90? I believe it goes in 5 times. So it looks like he must have worked 45 hours. Okay. Make sure I didn't make any errors here. Okay, that looks good. I like that answer. Number 5, in the figure below, AB is congruent to BC. I'm going to mark that on there. AE intersects BF at C. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. What is the measure of angle B? All right, well, if this is 26, then by vertical angle, that's 26. And since these two sides are the same, that's 26. So that's a combination of 52. 180 minus 52 is what's left over for angle B, and I am going with 128. Boom. There it is. We got the answer. Let's move on to the next one. We're having a pretty bad storm here right now in Jacksonville. Hopefully I don't lose my internet connection. Number 6, the dimensions in feet of a standard tennis court are shown in the figure below. All lines that meet in the figure do so at right angles. Which of the following values is closer to the area in square feet of the one service box shown shaded? Okay, so I got to figure out my dimensions here. Oh my gosh. So I got to find out this dimension. How am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to take my 78, that is this whole distance, and I need to subtract off that segment and that segment and that segment. So that looks like 18, 21, and 18. So I'm going to take away 18 and 18 is 36, and 21, that's 57. So 78 minus 57 looks to be 21. So it looks like this. Oh my gosh, did I need to do that? I didn't even need to do that. I just wasted time. 21 is right there. But I do need this. So that's going to be 36 minus 4.5 right here. Another 4.5. So that's minus 9 and minus the 13.5. So it's minus 9 and minus 13.5. I am going to get my TI-84 calculator out and take 36 minus 9 minus 13.5. That's going to give me 13.5. Okay. So that's 13.5. I probably, if knowing tennis courts, I probably could have assumed that was going to match. So it looks like it's 21 times 13.5. So I'm going to multiply those, 21 times 13.5, and I get 283.5 or 284. Okay, I think I could have done that faster. In scientific notation, what's the product of 3 and 0.00072? All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and convert this to scientific notation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.2 times 10 to the minus 7. Now, if I multiply that by 3, I just need to multiply the 7.2 times 3. So 7.2 times 3 is 21.6 times 10 to the minus 7. But that's not in scientific notation because this number here has to be between 1 and 10. So I need to make this number a little smaller, which means I need to make that number a little bigger. So I like this answer right here. Let's go to number 8. F of 1. All right, I can do this lickety split. So this is going to be 4 times 1 plus 3. I'm going to raise that to the second power. 4, 7, 49. 49. That was so easy. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. 4 and 3, 7, 7 squared, 49. Number 9. Regular octagon ABCDFGH is inscribed in a circle as shown below. The sector of the circle bounded by radii AG and DJ and by AD is shaded. The area of the shaded sector is what fraction of the area of the circle? Well, that just requires me to know what this central angle is right here. And there are 3 triangles in there out of 8 triangles. So it has to be 3 out of 8. Has to be. All right, I'm going to go with that answer. If I'm wrong, we'll correct it. Number 10, the expression here. All right, so I have to FOIL this together. So I am going to distribute and get 10x squared minus 12x. 3 times 5x plus 15x. 3 times negative 6 is a negative 18. So I like my 10x squared. Those are no good. Plus 3x minus 18. Okay, and I would stop the clock right now because I'm stopping after question 10 so that we can check my answers. All right, and we got a few people here. So if you are here, feel free to go to the comments section in YouTube and let me know that you're here. If you have a question on any of these 10, feel free to ask me that question. So here are the answers. So A, K, D, that looks good. Then J, D, F, and then B, K, D, and then 10 is K. All right, so I got 10 out of 10 on those. Now, anything that I want to mention to you about what I did as I was working through these. Yeah, sure. I want to mention something to you about not making sign errors or simple math errors, right? It's not a bad idea. I recommend that when you are plugging numbers in to go ahead and write out the problem, right? And whenever you're sticking a number in I'll say a signed number, you want to put it in parentheses. Notice I put in 5 plus 3 minus a negative 6. It looks like a positive now because I changed it as I was working it. But the reason why you want to not do just things in your head is because before you move to the next problem, you do want to stop and go back and spend a few seconds to see, did I make any math errors? Double check as you're working your way through the test. Okay, even on the easy ones, stop and spend a few seconds because you can't afford to miss one of these easy problems. You can't afford to miss one of these easy problems from a simple math error. Hi, Ariana. I'm so glad you were able to join us. Excellent. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. Everything else was pretty straightforward on these first 10, which is what we expect, right? We don't expect there to be any tricks. Now, right in the middle of this, I got a little flustered because I realized, boy, I knew this dimension was 21 because of the 21 right here. So I wasted maybe 10 or 15 seconds getting that 21. And given that this is a tennis court, man, oh man, I could have assumed that that's 13.5 as well, but probably not a good idea. Probably a good idea to go ahead and check it by doing the subtraction. All right. If you're not brushed up on scientific notation, this is something that you want to cover before you do the test on Saturday. Now, notice what I did. If I'm going to multiply 3 times a scientific notation number, I converted this to scientific notation, and then I had to multiply it by 3. But the only thing I needed to multiply it by was the 7.2 in front to get the 21.6. And when you do that and you get an answer that's not in scientific notation, you move the decimal, right? And if you move the decimal to make the number smaller, right, from 21.6 to 2.16, I have to compensate by making this multiplier over here a bigger number. And so I went from -6 to from -7 to -6 to compensate for the fact that I had to move my decimal to the left. All right. And that one was pretty straightforward. So was that. All right. So those are my Those are my first 10 questions. If I had the clock, I would start the clock again because we are going to number 11. This says a cake recipe requires 5/8 cup of flour. Mary and Haloa decide to make the cake together. Mary has 1/3 cup of flour and Haloa has 1/4. How many more cups of flour do they need to make the cake? All right, so I have to add 1/3 and 1/4. That's going to be 4/12 plus 3/12 or 7/12. But they need 5/8. So I need to take 5/8 minus 7/12. Oh boy. 24 is going to be my common denominator. This is going to be 15. That's going to be 14. Oh boy. 1/24th it looks like. Okay. I am going with that. I'm pretty confident that I did this right. Adding 1/3 and 1/4, 7/12. I had to take that away from 5/8, 15, 24th. 7/12 is 14. Okay, I like that answer. 12. Coach Shannon is buying packages of granola bars, juice boxes, and apples as snacks for her soccer team. The table below gives the number of snacks per package and the price per package. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Number 12, what's the minimum total price of the snacks, all bought in whole packages, that Coach Shannon buys so that each of the 15 girls on the team gets at least one snack of each type? All right, so she's got 15 girls on the team. I'm going to need 5 boxes of granola bars. I'm going to need 4 boxes here. 4 times 4 will get me to at least 15. And I'll need 3 of these. So 250 times 5, excuse me, is going to be 1250. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 450. 450 times 2 is 9. So that would be 1350. So that's a whole dollar. This is 24, 34, 37. I'm looking at 38. I like that answer, 38. Double checking here. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to move on to the next one. Number 13, given functions f of x and g of x, what is the value of f of g of -3? All right, I'm going to evaluate g of -3 first by doing this. All right, -3 squared is 9, and this is 9 minus 2. That is 7. So it's really f of 7, and that's 5 times 7 plus 1. I like the 36. I'm going with that. I do not think I made a mistake on that. I'm going to keep rolling. 14. For 7y equals 2x minus 5, which following expressions gives x in terms of y? X. Okay, they want me to solve for x here. Gives x. I need to find x. I'm going to add 5 to both sides and then divide by 2. I like G. That was easy, almost too easy. Double checking my work here. Nope, I think that is right. All right, 15 says for an angle with measure alpha in a right triangle, sine of alpha is 4/5 and tangent of alpha is 4/3. What's the value of cosine alpha? All right, I'm not going to make a mistake here. There's alpha. Sine, I could represent that as opposite over hypotenuse. And there we go. So what's cosine of that same is going to be 3 adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's going to be 3/5. Moving on. Number 16. A scale drawing of a proposed trapezoidal landscape design is shown in the figure below with the given dimensions in meters. The trapezoid consists of a right triangle and a square divided into 3 isosceles right triangles. The unshaded regions will be white rock. The standards will be black. What is the area of the black rock? So I need the area of the shaded region. Okay, I know the area of this region right here has to be 25 because it's 1/4 of the square. The square is 100. And so now this one right here is a 4 base length and a 10. And so that would be 40. That would be a 20. So I'm liking 45 right there as my answer. Okay, I like it. I'm going on. 17, one construction sign flashes every 6. I've seen a problem like this recently. One construction sign flashes every 6 seconds and another one flashes every 10 seconds. At a certain instant, the two signs flash at the same time. How many seconds elapse until the next flash the next time? Basically what I'm doing is this first one that flashes every 6 seconds will flash at 6, 12, 18, 24, etc. The other one is going to flash at 10, 20, 30, 40. It looks like they're going to flash at 30 right there. So I am going with D. 18, which of the following expressions is equivalent to 4x squared plus 8x minus 12? My answers have a 4 factored out, so I think I'm going to go ahead and factor that 4 out. X squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, and so that's going to factor like this, negative 3 and positive 2. So that's going to be a positive 3 minus 1. I like K right there. 19, a person's vertical jump is the difference between the maximum height the person can reach at the top of a jump and the maximum height the person can reach when standing. Okay, the maximum height Donald can reach at the top of his jump is that, and the maximum height you can reach when standing is that. What's his vertical? Okay, I have to subtract those two. I'm going to convert these all into inches. That's 124 inches. 12 times 10 is 120, 124 inches. 12 times 7 is 84, plus 10 is 94. Okay, so that's 0. That's 30 inches. 30 inches is his vertical height. So that would be 12 goes into 30 twice, right? 12 goes into 30 twice. 24, 6. Okay, 2 feet, 6 inches. Going with that one right there. Make sure that I didn't mess that up. 120 plus 4, 12 times 7, 84, plus 10, 94. Subtract is 30. 12 and 12 is 24, plus an additional. Yeah, okay, I like that answer. 30, or should say 20. Okay, this Jocelyn wants to become a member of one of 3 gyms. The one-time sign-up fee, the monthly fee, and the late fee for each gym are shown in the table below. Okay, that makes sense. Monthly fees are due on the first day of each month. A one-time late fee is added to the monthly fee if the monthly fee is paid after the first day of that particular month. Felix, a coworker, Jocelyn, became a member of Power People on March 1st. Okay, great. So Felix is going with the Power People. All right. Given that Jocelyn becomes a member of Trim Time on July 1st and that she pays all monthly fees on time, what total amount will Jocelyn have paid to the gym by September 2nd of that year? So she's going to pay for July, for August, and September. She will have paid a sign-up fee of $25. She would have paid the monthly fees with no late fees. So I'm liking 205. I'm looking at 180 plus 25. I'm liking 205. Let me go back up here. Monthly fees are due on the first day of each month. So she did pay for September. Okay. All right. I would stop the clock right there and grade it. I'm going to grade this and see if I got these answers right. We got a few more people who have joined. If you're just joining, this is Mr. Rich. I'm on my live stream, and what we're doing here is going through one of the practice ACT tests. This is the latest one, at least that I could find. E26 is the designation for this. I think it was one that was administered in the last few months that was released. And we've just made our way through problems 20. problem 1 through 20, and I'm going back now to grade problems 11 through 20. Let's see how I did. All right, so 11 is A, and then H, and then D. 14 starts G, and then B, and then H, and then DKCJ, DKCJ. All right. Any questions from any of you that are watching this on any of these problems? If so, go ahead and type it into our chat. Let me see if there's anything I want to mention about what methods that I used here. Now, on number 11, it was a fraction problem, right? All fraction math. If you're not comfortable doing fractions as fast as I did those, you have the option of using your TI-84, right? And let me just show you, in case you don't know how to enter fractions onto your TI-84, right? I was doing 1/3 plus 1/4, right? If you wanted to do that on your calculator, alpha F1, if you have a TI-84 and you got one of the later operating systems on it, alpha F1 pulls up this menu, and when you hit enter, it goes ahead and creates the fraction where you can enter in the 1, arrow down to a 4, arrow to the right, say plus, and do another fraction, alpha F1, and hit enter. And then you've got 1/3. And there you go. So that gives you an answer of 7/12, which is what I had right here. So that is one option to do your fractions on your TI-84 or any other calculator. All scientific calculators nowadays have fraction buttons that automate the fraction operations on your calculator, so you can avoid that. Okay, let's see. Everything else here was pretty straightforward. Don't forget, in geometry, squares, the diagonals intersect at right angles, and all 4 of these triangles that are formed by the 2 diagonals are going to be 45, 45, 90 triangles, all congruent triangles. And of course, here I did need to know the formula for the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. All right, let's continue our journey here. I'm going to start with number 21. And so this is a continuation on here on this 3-part problem. Here we go. So 21 says that before October 1st, Felix had paid all 7 of his monthly gym fees on time. He will make his next gym payment on October 4th. What total amount must Felix pay on October 4th so that his gym account will be paid in full? Okay, so before October 1st, he had paid them all. So I think that means then if Felix is at Power People, he's going to have to pay his monthly fee plus 5. I'm thinking he's going to have to pay 55. He's going to have to pay that 50 plus 5 before October 1st. Yeah, so he had to make one more payment on October 4th. Yeah, so I'm going with 55. I don't know. Something weird about that question, but I guess that's fine. So 22, another gym, Good as New, has a sign-up fee equal to the mean of all the sign-up fees in the table. What's the sign-up fee for Good as New? So I have to get the mean of these sign-up fees. Okay, what's the mean? So 55 divided by 3 is what this has to be. Sign-up fee equals the mean of the sign-up fees of all the sign-up fees in the table. So I'm going to bring up my calculator and do 55 divided by 3. I get 18. So maybe what they mean is only the ones that there are in the table. So maybe it's 60 divided by 2 would be 30. It's kind of a trick question. Okay, so it looks like I'm of all the sign-up fees that are in the table. So I guess I just have to add the 2 that were there and divide by 2. All right. Still, I don't know, 100% comfortable with that, but I got to move on. I think that's the right answer. 23 says the dimensions in inches of 2 rectangular prisms are shown in the figure below. The volume of the large prism is the same as the volume of how many of the smaller prisms? Well, this is this volume here of the smaller one is XYZ. This volume is the product of all 3 of these, which would be 3 times 2 is 6 times 2 is 12 XYZ. So it's 12. So 12 of those would fit into there. Okay. Make sure I didn't make a mistake. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 XYZ, XYZ. Yeah, 12. 24. For what real value of x is the equation 64 to the 1/3 equal 2 to the x true? I am going to change 64 into a power of 2. So it would be 2 to the 6th raised to the 1/3 is equal to 2 to the x. I'm multiplying those. That would be 2 squared equals 2 to the x. It looks like 2 is my answer. Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. The cube root of 64 is definitely 4. So, all right. 25. Suppose that the 8 identical faces of a rectangular octahedron, like the one shown below, are numbered from 11 through 18 with 1 number per face, and each face is equally likely to land down when the octahedron is tossed. What's the probability that on one toss of this octahedron, the number of the face landing down is a prime number or an even number? Okay, so I am going to very quickly write down all the numbers 11 through 18. That is prime, that is even, that is prime, that is even, that is neither, that is even, that is prime, and that is neither. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going with 6 out of 8. And I have a problem because that's not one of my answers. The number of the face is a prime number or an even number. Prime, even, prime, even, neither, even. 17's prime. So I've got 8, and that is, oh, this is even. Okay. Okay. So 7 out of 8. There we go. E. Wow. Wasting some time on that one. 26. In triangle RST below, U is a point on RT such that ray SU is an angle bisector of RST. So SU is an angle by, okay, that makes sense. X and X. What is the measure of angle R? All right, I'm going to just simply add these 3 angles up and set it equal to 180. So when I add these, X and 3 is 4X, that's 5X plus 5 has to equal 180. So 5X is equal to 175. 5 goes into 175 35 times. Okay, 35 times, right? That's 25, 35. So X is 35. So this angle right here is 35. This would be 3 times 35, which would be, oh my gosh, 35 times 3 is 105. 105 plus 3 is 140. That would leave me 40 for that. Okay, what did I mess up? 4x, 5x plus 5 is 180, 175. Did I do that right? 3, 25, 35? Yeah. 35 times 3 is 15, 105, 105, 40. That would leave me 40 degrees there. Oh my goodness. What did I do wrong? All right, I'm going to come back to it. 27. A lawn and garden store sells 2 types of grass seed, shade and sun. The numbers of bags sold on Friday and Saturday last week are given in matrix A. Okay, and the selling price bag and the profit bag are given in matrix B. Price and profit are in dollars. What is the total profit for the sale of the two types of grass seeds sold on Friday and Saturday? So this is matrix multiplication. So what I have to do is the selling price, right? These are selling prices, and this is profit per bag. Let's see here. Given in matrix A. So last week, the numbers of bags. Yeah, so these are numbers. These are bags, and this is profit. These are all, okay, that's the price and the profit per bag. Okay. So price and profit. What is the total profit for the sale of the two? Okay. So what am I going to do here? I sold 25 bags of shade. I'm not going to really take this as a matrix problem. 25 bags of shade, 40 of sun, and the total profit. These are profits per bag for shade. So it's 25 times 1.7 and 40 times 1.5. I think that's right. I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm going to take 25 times 1.7. I'm going to add 40 times 1.5. And I got 102.50. I'm very confident in that. I'm going to pick it and move on. 28. What real value of x satisfies this equation? I'm going to change this to 6 squared raised to the x minus 1, and that would be 6 to the 1. I would multiply those. So this would be 2x minus 2 equals 6 to the 1. So my equation to be solved is equating the exponents. So 2x is equal to 3. X is 3 halves. Going with H. 3 halves on that one. 29. In right triangle ABC shown below, AB is 9, BC is 12. What's sine of A? If I divide these by 3, I get a 3 and a 4, which would make that a 5, but I would have to multiply that by 3. So this has to be a 15 over here. So sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse. This has to be an answer of 12 over 15. Divide by 3, 4 over 5. Yeah. So that makes perfect sense. 4 over 5. All right, 30. What is the area in square coordinate units of ABCD? That sure looks like a kite to me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate the area of these. So this is a base of 8, right, from 6 to negative 2, with a height of 4. So that would be 32. That would be an area of 16. And that would be an area of 16. This has to be 32. All right, I'm going to go, before I stop the clock and check my answers, I got stuck somewhere. Where did I get stuck? Yeah, no, that one I did figure out. No, this one. Okay. All right. So 3x and 4x and 5x plus 5 has to add to 180, 75. So I'm going to get my calculator out. 175 divided by 5 is 35 times 3. That's probably where I made my mistake. It's 105. Oh my gosh. This is 105. And this right here then is 75. Adding those together then is 110 and 70. Okay, stop the clock. All right. Hey, Raheel, what's going on? I know you got a 5 on that exam. I did. I was the morning those grades came out, I was all over it. And of course, I wasn't surprised at all. So, Raheel, we're doing an ACT test to help students get ready for this coming Saturday. All right, now I'm going to make a point here, class, about 26. You know what just happened on that. But let's go back and grade 21 through 30. All right, so it goes BHE. Okay. Yep, this one was wrong. So the answer here is 20. All right. E, I got that right. 24 is G, and then E, and then H. And with 27, it's CH. Okay, good. All right. I remember I as I was working this problem, I was like, I just don't feel good about this. Has a sign-up fee equal to the mean of all the sign-up fees. What did I do wrong? Oh my goodness. It's 60 divided by 3, which would be 20. Yes. I don't know how I missed that. Okay, so lesson learned, right? I mean, that's I did look at adding 35 and 25 and 0 and dividing by 3. See, oh my gosh, I made a math error. I did 35 and 25 and called it 55. Okay, so those are the errors that we're trying to avoid. And I made it. Now, over here on this problem, notice that I got stuck and I just decided to come back to it. I definitely was missing a step, right? I got this 105, but then I called this 105. All right. Now, when I left it and came back, I then caught it fairly quickly. So that's one of your strategies. When you think you're doing a problem right, and then your answer isn't there, rather than get frustrated, go ahead and skip it and make a point to come back. And usually when you take a fresh look at it, that error may become very obvious to you. All right. So that's what's going on there. Okay, let's keep rolling. I am going to, if there are any questions, I've got a few people here. If any questions on these problems that you have, go ahead and chime in on the methods that I used or why I did what I did. I will make this comment here. Several times so far in this test, I have solved an exponential equation by matching the bases on either side of the equal sign and then using my rules of exponents. Okay, so that's definitely something to practice on. All right, what time is it? All right, so we're at about 10 till, and we're halfway through the test. Let's see if we can keep going on here. Oh, this is a multi-part problem. So we're starting with 31. What is the perimeter in coordinate units of ABCD? So I got to get all of these distances here. All right. So, boy, oh boy. Well, let's erase that. Okay. Let's not erase that. Well, let's force it to be erased. Okay. Here we go. I got to find the perimeter of this. So I need to find these lines. There's 2 of them, so I'll just double it. This is a right triangle that looks like it is a 4 and a 6. So that's going to be 16 plus 36 square rooted, right? That's the square root of 52. And what is that? That's going to be 13 times 4, right? Notice if I take a glance down here, sometimes if something may trigger, right? 13 times 4. So that's 2 root 13. That's what this is. So that's 2 root 13. That's going to be 2 root 13. This other right triangle is 2 and 4. So that's going to be 4 and 16 square rooted using Pythagorean theorem here. So that's square root of 20, which is obviously 5 times 4. So that's 2 root 5. So I've got 2 root 5 and 2 root 5. So that's 4 root 5 and 4 root 13. There's B. I like that answer right there. So I had to use 2 Pythagorean theorems on that one problem. Number 32. What are the coordinates of the image of point B resulting from a rotation of 180 degrees about the origin? So, well, that's pretty simple, right? If I'm taking angle B and rotating it 180 degrees, it's going to come and be reflected over to the other side, right? If you take this ray and rotate it 180, it's just going to be pointing out here at -60. And so I'm going with G. 32. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to this for x squared minus 36 not equal to 0? All right, this is a factoring problem, so I'm going to factor the bottom as difference of two squares. The top, I'm going to factor that quadratic. Minus 12 and a positive 4. That's going to be 6 and 2. So it looks like plus 6 and a negative 2. Those guys are gone. Boom. Goodbye. X minus 2 over x minus 6. I really like that answer. I think I'm going to stick with it. Let's go to 34. The rectangular top surface of a patio is 4 feet longer than it is wide and has an area of 192 square feet. All right. So here's the width. This is going to be W plus 4. Okay, and the area is 192. What is the width? Okay, so W times W plus 4 must be equal to 192. So W squared plus 4W minus 192 has to be equal to 0. I would solve this by factoring. Okay, now I'm not sure how I'm going to factor that, but I'm going to look at my answer choices maybe to guide me. So I'm going to not use that. I'm going to use my calculator. And I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to take my 192 and divide it by 24. 24 and 8, those are not close enough together. So I'm going to take my 192, divide that by 16. Yeah, 16 and 12. Yeah, 16 and 12. It's got to be a plus 16 and a minus 12. You see how I did that? I don't want to teach while I'm doing this. I'm just kind of, I'll do it afterwards. But I went ahead now and I have successfully factored this. So it has to be 12, right? This would be W is equal to negative 16. I can't have a negative width 35. In the standard XY coordinate plane, what is the slope of a line that contains negative 2, negative 2? And has a y-intercept of 1. So here is 1. I'm going to go with negative 2, negative 2. Okay. I need the slope of that line. Well, it's going to be a positive slope. So let's see. So I'm going negative 2, negative 2. That means my rise is going to be 3 and my run is going to be 2. So I like 3 over 2. Make sure I did that right. Negative 2, negative 2. So I have to rise from negative 2 to 1 is 3. Going to the right, I have to go over by 2. Okay, 3 over 2. I like it. 36. Veronica delivers 27 copies of the news report and 22 copies of the City Times to 38 of the 40 houses on Oakland Street. No house receives more than 1 copy of each newspaper. How many houses received both newspapers? Okay. All right. So she delivers 27 copies of the news report and 22 copies to 38 of the 40 houses. How many had to? I think this is a Venn diagram problem. I can't be too sure. I'm going to come back to it. I want to do this my first pass as quickly as I can. So this is going to be 3 plus the absolute value of negative 5 is 5 times 4, 23. Could that be that easy? Absolute value of negative 3 is 3. That's 5. I'm multiplying 5 times 4, 20, 23. Okay, it is what it is. 38. Julia, an archaeology student, needs to dig 6 cylindrical pits at an archaeological site. Each pit will be 8 feet in diameter. And these are cylindrical, 8 feet in diameter and 6 feet deep. Since she needs to work slowly and carefully, Julia can remove dirt at an average rate of 3 cubic feet per hour. Which following values is close to the number of hours it will take to dig all 6 pits? Oh my gosh. Okay, each pit is 8 feet, so it's got a 4-foot diameter, and it is 6 feet down this way. Okay, and of course, there's my volume for a cylinder. Sometimes they'll give that to you, sometimes they will not. So I'm going to use my calculator to make this go fast. So each one of these pits is going to be pi times r squared, which would be 4 squared or 16 times 6. Okay, but there's 6 of them. Okay, and now that's cubic feet, right? These were all units of feet. Now she's going to remove dirt at 3 cubic feet per hour, so I need to divide this by 3. So it looks like 600 is my answer. Make sure I didn't miss anything. 6 pits. Each pit will be 8 feet in diameter, 4 feet radius. So that's, yeah, yep, 6 feet deep. Okay, yep. Pi r squared 6. I got that. There were 6 pits. Yep, I feel confident in that answer. 39. Hector counted the number of blue candies in each of 14 packages and summarized his data in the frequency bar graph below. What's the median of the number of blue candies in the 14 packages? My median is going to be at 14 plus 1 over 2. So it's going to be the mean of the 7th and 8th, right? 7th and 8th. So if I count from the bottom, 4, 5, 6, this is the 7th candy, that's the 8th candy. So it would have to be the mean of 4.5, 4 and 5. So it's 4.5 is the median. I feel very confident in that. In the number 40, oh my. Yeah, I've seen a problem like this before. In certain years, July, a month with 31 days, has exactly 4 Mondays and 4 Fridays. The 1st of July in those years, no, I haven't seen one like this. The 1st of July in those years will be on, oh my goodness. How am I going to do this? I don't see a fast way to do this other than try these. Wow, I don't like this at all. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All right, I'm going to start with Thursday. So that would be if that's the first, then I would go 8, 15, 22, 29. That would be 30 and 31. That's not going to work because that's going to give me 5 Fridays. 5 Fridays. I need to back this up. I think I need to back it up by 3 days. I think I need to back it up to Monday. Let's see. 1, 8, 15, 22, 29, 30, 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Like that. So that's going to be 12, 19, 26. That's going to miss there. That gives me 5 Mondays. I think I backed it up too far. I think it's Tuesday. I think Tuesday is my answer. All right. All right. Let's go back to my Venn diagram. What I thought was a Venn diagram. 20. Okay, so I'm gonna make a Venn diagram. This is my news report, and this is the City Times. 40 houses. Okay, so I guess there's 2. Okay, out here. So if there's 27 copies of the news report to 38 of the 40 houses. So that would mean for the news report, maybe 11 here, 22 and 16. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Okay, let's, if this is a Venn diagram problem, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my middle number here and put a 7, in which case that would mean that this would be 20. And in which case that would mean that this is 15. Does that all add up to 40? 27, 37, 42, 44. No, that doesn't work. I think I need to go lower. So if this is 5, that's going to make this 22. That's going to make this one 17. 34. That doesn't work either. Maybe I needed to go to 9. Okay, let's try it and see. So if that's a 9, my 27 copies, so that would make this 18. That would make this one 13. That's 31. 40, that's 42. I need 38. I need 30. I need 38. Maybe that 5, maybe that 7 was right. I think I might have missed that. Let's try that with 7. So if that's 7, then that's 20. And 7 from 22 is 15. So 17, 30, that's 17, 24, 24, that's 44. Boy, I got stuck on that one. All right, so let's grade these. I now am going to guess 2. Let's start back up here at 31. Okay, BGB. Okay, 34. FDK, FDK 11. Okay, let's stop right here. Let's see if I just needed to stick with it. If that's 11, that's going to make this 27. No, sorry. That's going to make that 11 because there's 22 city times. If that's 11, that's going to make this 16. So 22, yeah, that's it. So 11 was the answer. It was a Venn diagram problem. I'm not going to figure out how I should have done this without doing a backwards calculation check. But that was my answer. So I missed that one. Okay, 37 is C. So it goes C, J, C. Yep. And then 40 is F. Yeah. So I had to back this up. Let's just go over this one more time. Right. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so on my Tuesdays, yeah. And so this would be an 8, which would make that a 7. So it goes 7, 14, 21, 28, 29, 30, 31. And then this goes 4, 11, 18, 25. Yep, there we go. So there's 4 Fridays, 4 Mondays. Is there a mathematical way to do that? If there is, I don't see it. This is one of those problems that you got to sketch out and work with it until you get it. All right. All right. We still got a few people here. Any questions on these 10 questions? Let's see if I wanted to mention anything special about this. No. I'm going to give a tip here that I give to all the students that I prep for the ACT, and that is that when you're working a geometry problem that's in the XY coordinate system, what you want to do when you draw the sketch is you want to put points only on the X and Y axis. So for example, you wouldn't come out here and call this -2, -2. Okay, that's not all that helpful when you're making a picture. What is helpful is when you say, okay, that's -2 and that's -2. Because now when I look at my figure, I can see, oh yeah, the distance here is from -2 to 1, that's 3. And then from here, right, -2 over to 0, that's a 2. Okay, so that helped me see that this was going to be a 3 over 2. And that's not just on that kind of, that's any kind of geometry problem in the XY plane. Label the points on their X and Y axes, and that will oftentimes help you come to a faster solution. And sometimes avoid using formulas and longer calculations. 41, let's get back on track here. So it is a little bit after 9, so I'm going to keep going here till I get this thing all done. 41 says that Miss Siochi has a rectangular lot with a perimeter of 100 meters. She paid $24.20 for fencing to install along the entire perimeter. This is rectangular, perimeter of 100. Okay, she chose standard fencing for 3 sides of the lot and decorative fencing for 1 of the 20-meter sides. Okay, so they're giving me a clue here. So it's 20 and 20, which is 40 away from 100 is 60, which means this has to be 30-30. They gave me the dimensions here. Miss Sochi paid $1 more per meter for the decorative fencing Then for the standard fencing, how much did Miss Siochi pay per meter for the decorative fencing? So she did decorative on this side, and the others were the standard fencing. So the whole thing was $24.20. All right. So this would be 30, and 30 is 60 plus 20. So 80 times the standard fencing per meter times 20 times S plus 1, because she had to have paid $1 more for that one. And that's what has to be equal to 24.20. All right, I think I've got this. So 80S plus 20S plus 20. I distribute that 20 equals 24.20. So that's 100S equals 2400 when I subtract 20. So the standard fencing is $24. So the decorative would have to be 25. Okay, so I chose a straight up algebra solution to that. 42. Students use dowel rods to learn about equations. They lay several rods, some of which are red and some of which are white, end to end. The length of each red rod is R, and the length of each white rod is W. The students determine that the total length of 2 red rods and 7 white rods is the same as the total length of 4 red rods and 3 white rods. Based on their relationship, which following equations has to be true? All right. Well, I'm going to subtract 2R on both sides and subtract 3W on both sides. So, oh my goodness. What is, yeah. So R is equal to 2W. Yeah, right here. Divide by 2. R is equal to 2W. I'm confident in that. 43 for I equals square root of minus 1. Okay, so I need to expand this. That's going to be 4 plus 8i plus 4i squared. But this is going to be a negative 1, so that's a minus 4. So these cancel, and it leaves me 8i. Make sure I got that. 4. The product of 2i and I, 2i and 2 is 4i. Double that is 8i. That's 4i squared, but that's minus 4. It cancels that 8i. I like it. For all theta, such that cosine theta is not 0 and sine is not 0, which of the following expressions is equal to tangent theta? Okay, tangent is sine over cosine divided by secant, but I'm going to multiply by 1 over secant, but secant is cosine. Right? Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So this really moves up and becomes cosine of theta. Cosines cancel. Sine. I like sine. All right, 45. The map below shows 5 villages and the 7 roads on Gull Island. All residential mailboxes on Gull Island are located along these roads. During a mail run, the island's mail carrier travels on each road exactly once, but she may pass through a village more than once. The carrier starts her run in one of the 5 villages and ends her run in one of the 4 remaining villages. One of the following pairs of villages gives the starting point and the ending point for the mail run. You got to be kidding me. Travels on each road exactly once, can't go the same path, but may pass through a village more than once. Wow. Okay, so I think I'm either going to have to start at Ripley because I have 3 things. I could start at Ripley or Willa or Baytown. Okay. If I go with Portville, Baytown, because there's 4 things leaving Baytown. If I go Willa and I come this way, and then go that way, come that way, come this way, and then travel this road and then back up. Okay, that doesn't work because I didn't travel that road. I don't like this problem. I'm going to look at these answers here and see which ones would work. I'm going to come back to it. For which of the following sets is the range of the function f of x equals 3 plus this whole thing squared? Okay, I need the range of this. Which following sets is the range of the function? Okay, so for the y values. So I'll tell you, this is a weird problem, because one thing I know about whatever this thing is for any value of x, it has to be positive because it's squared. And then a positive plus 3 would have to be from 3 to infinity. And I guess inclusive, because this could be a 0. This could be 0, in which case the lowest value would be 3, and it would have to only go up from there. So I'm going with 3 to infinity, just based on the fact that square makes that positive. So I'm going to go with it. All right, 47. Mr. Schulte has a fair 12-sided die with the sides numbered 1 through 12. On both Monday and Tuesday, Mr. Schulte will roll the die one time on both Monday and Tuesday. If the side that lands face up is numbered with a prime number, Mr. Schulte will collect the homework that day. Otherwise, he will not collect the homework. What's the probability that Mr. Schulte will collect homework on both Monday and Tuesday? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are the sides. And if it's prime, if he gets a prime number, 1 is not prime. Yeah, they tell you that. So 1 is not prime. So prime would be 2, 3, 5, 7, and 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is a 5 out of 12 chance on Monday. So if it's both Monday and Tuesday, that's going to have to be that squared. Be 5/12 chance on both days of collecting homework. Probably that he will collect if it is. He will collect if it is face up with prime. Yeah, I want to make sure I didn't have it backwards. So I like A. 48. The table below gives the number of Jerry's construction workers needed to frame a specific type of house in a certain selected number of days. Given that all the workers work at the same rate, how many workers will it take to frame this specific type of house in 10 days? Okay, given that all, okay. So what are we going to do here? So this thing, so 15, 10, 5. Okay, so I think I'm going to set up a proportion. I'm going to go 15 is to 10 as 2 is to x. I don't like that. 15 is 10 as 2 is to x. Let's see. Given that all the workers work at the same rate, how many workers will it take to frame this specific type of house in 10 days? Okay, so would it be 15 to 10 to the x, 20, 15x equals 20. That doesn't make any sense. So would this be a linear function? Is this a linear function? So this distance here is 24, and that's 4. So that would be like 1 out of 6. Okay. So, and this would be 14 out of 15 minus 1, and 2 minus 30 is 28. Yeah. Okay, let's try this, right? So I'm going to start with 7. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm thinking this is going to be between 3 and 4. I don't like those answers. So as it's dropping down, this has to be either 3 or 4. 2, 4, 6, and then 30. That's going down by 1.5. That one, I'm going to come back to it. 49. Considering only positive integer factors, which following integers has an odd number of distinct factors? Distinct factors. Okay, so this is 2 times 2 times 2. This is 5 times 2 times 2. That's prime. That's 3 times 3 times 3. 35 is 7 times 5. Which is why it has an odd number of distinct factors, an odd number. So this has 1 distinct, that has 2 distinct, 2 distinct, that's all the same. They're not distinct. An odd number of distinct factors. Distinct means not the same, right? So it's only got 1 distinct factor. I guess A is 1 is an odd number, right? That's 2 distinct. That's 2 distinct. That's also 1 distinct. 3 times 3 times 3. And that's 7 times 5. Wow. Wow. I'm going with 27 here. Okay, let's go to number 50. A solution is 5% alcohol and 95% water. A second solution is 20% alcohol and 80% water. If 2 gallons of the first solution are mixed with 1 gallon of the second solution, the resulting solution is what percent alcohol? All right, so I got the first solution is 2 gallons. So that means I'm going to go 2 gallons times 0.05 plus 2 gallons times 0.95. So this is my alcohol. This is the water. And this is going to then be, on the next solution, 1 gallon times 0.2 alcohol plus the 1 gallon times 0.80. All right, so I'm interested in alcohol. So 2 times 0.05 is 0.1. So this right here is 0.1. When I'm adding the alcohol up here is 0.1 gallons. This would be 0.2 gallons. Okay, so I've got 0.3 gallons of alcohol out of 3 gallons total. So 0.3 out of 3 is going to be a 10%. This percent alcohol has to be 10% right there. All right, this gives me the total gallons of alcohol from the 2 solutions. 0.2, 0.3, 0.3 over 3, 10%. Okay. All right, let's stop there. All right, this didn't go too well. Let's go back up to the top here, starting at 41. 41. So this goes DFC with 44, GEK, that looks good, E, Ripley and Willa. So is what this was. This was E. All right, so why would that be? It has to start at Ripley and end with Willie. 1, 2, 3, right? Coming down here. Yeah, I guess what is the logic there? Starting with Ripley. Or is it ending with Willa? That is, yeah, you know what, students, I'd have to look at this a little bit more, but my answer here is E. It's easy to see that does work after the fact, but not too sure about that one. All right, let's keep going on here. So 46, yeah, K was the right answer there. 47 is AFAA. And F is the right answer here, 3. So this is a 3 right here. Yeah, they work at the same rate. So what I am thinking, this looks like maybe this is solved as an inverse. because this is an inverse relationship. So we start with y equals k over x. Let's pick this one right here. Right, so I'm looking at x and y. So we'll find this constant right here. So this would be 1 equals k over 30. So k would be 30. That would be the relationship on an inverse relationship. So if I put, yeah, that's it. Would that be right? No. Yeah, it is. Because right here, since that's my y, if I put a 10 right here, multiply both sides by x, right? 10x is 30, x is 3. So sneaky problem in a way, because the fact that they're working at the same rate, these workers are, this is what we call an inverse relationship, right? A direct or an inverse proportional relationship. So it can be either y equals k times x, or y equals k over x if they are in an inverse relationship. That means as one variable goes up, the other one goes down. And so you choose this one. And your job then is to take one of the ordered pairs and plug it in to find out what k is. All right, and that's what I did. I found it was 30. So that was where that came from. And then let's check 49. 49 is A. The answer to this is A. An odd number of distinct factors. 16 is 2 to the 4th. 27 is 3 to the 3rd. This has only one distinct factor, but so does this have only one distinct factor. This has two distinct. 23 has one. 23 also has one distinct. Yeah, I don't like that question. Distinct factors. Considering only positive integer factors. Positive integer factors. If we include 1 as our factor, because we're talking about positive, I guess 1 would be included. So if we look at it this way, class, 5 times 2 times 2 times 1, and this one 23 times 1, and this 3 times 3 times, I see what it is here. Watch this. 7 times 5 times 1. This has one distinct factor. This has two distinct factors. This has 3 distinct factors. No, 23. That's 2 distinct. That's 23 times 1. That's got 2 distinct factors. This has 1 distinct factor, right? The 3s are not distinct. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't like that question. I'm going to have to do some more research on that one as well to see why that answer is A. So I'm going to look at that one again just to make sure 49 is A. Sure is. All right. And 50 is F. So we got that one right. All right. Still got a few people hanging in here. I don't see any questions popping up on the chat. So that is number 50, and we're going to do the last 10 here. It's 9:30. So here we go. So let's start with 51. In the standard xy coordinate plane, the graph of the equation y equals 3 sine 2x plus 0.5 pi has what amplitude and period? So amplitude is my 3. So those are out. And period for a sine and cosine is 2 pi over b. And that's my b. So that's 2 pi over 2. So it's pi a. 3 and pi is the period. All right, 52. A pet shop always has 54 hamsters that are either solid colored or multicolored in the front of the store for customers to see. Any additional hamsters are kept in an area at the back of the store. Which of the following ratios of solid colored hamsters to multicolored hamsters is possible for the hamsters in the front of this pet shop? Okay, well, if we're doing a ratio of solid to multicolored, the sum of the numerator and denominator has to be able to divide into 54. Okay, so I don't like this. That's 55. That's 9. That's 5. That's 7. That's 15. I think that this would be a possibility. That's 9 divides into 54. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. But if I were to just double check this, if it's 2 to 7, then what I could do is multiply this by 5 and that by 5. That gives me 40. That doesn't go high enough. If I do it by 6, that's 42 and 12, right? 12 out of 42. Yeah, so I'm going with G on that. 53, a cookie jar contains 10 cookies of 3 types. There are 5 chocolate chip cookies, 3 oatmeal raisin, and 2 sugar cookies. Reach into the jar and choose a cookie at random, and then without replacing the first cookie, reach into the jar and choose another cookie. What's the probability that both of the cookies you choose are of the same type? All right, we're going to pull 2 cookies out. So what could happen here? If we go with chocolate chip, I could go 5 out of 10 on the first, but then I would have a 4 out of 10. That's if I did chocolate chip. If it was oatmeal, it would be 3 out of 10 times 2 out of 10. And if it was a sugar cookie, I have a 2 out of 10 followed by a 1 out of 10 chance, right? These are the 3 ways that I could get 2 consecutive cookies. So this is 20 out of 100. This is 6 out of 100. This is 2 out of 100. So it's 28 out of 100. All right. These are all ors, right? It could happen. It could happen this way or this way or this way. And since I'm doing it without replacement, I had to realize that I've only got 4 chocolate chips after I pulled 1 out already. So it looks like 20 out of 100 is going to be my answer. 54, quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Which of the following statements about ABCD must be true? All right, so we want to know how much we know about parallelograms. The diagonals bisect each other. That's always true about a parallelogram. I like that answer. No, diagonals are not perpendicular. They would be if it was a square or a rhombus. But they're talking about a parallelogram, so you have to include all parallelograms. The diagonals are congruent. No way on a parallelogram. All 4 sides don't have to be congruent. All 4 interior, no, they're not on a parallelogram. They could be, but don't always have to be true. So F, diagonals in a parallelogram will always cut each other in half. All right, 55, for all m such that m is between 0 and 1, the value of m over m to the minus 1 must be, all right, so here I'm going to pick a value. I don't know, I'll pick 2/3. So if m is 2/3, then m to the minus 1 has to be 3/2. So does that have to be greater than m? Well, that sure is. Does that have to be, no, it doesn't have to be equal to m. Less than m. No. Equal to 0? Oh, no, of course not. No, it wouldn't be negative. It has to be greater than m. I'm liking A right there, just based on this example. 2/3 is between 0 and 1. And m to the minus 1 would be the reciprocal 3/2, which makes it bigger. Yeah, okay. 56, Bill and Nate are participating in a fundraising event in which they run or walk a distance of 30 miles. A graph representing their progress during the first hour is shown in the standard XY coordinate plane. Assuming that Bill continues to travel at the same speed until he reaches the finish line. One of the following phrases describes how Nate will need to change his speed, his average speed for the remainder of the event in order to finish at exactly the same time as Bill. Which one? Wow. Okay, so they need to go 30 miles. So Bill's rate right here is 6 miles per hour. So Bill is going 6 miles per hour. He's going 30 miles. He's going 30 miles. So he's going to be running for 5 hours. Now, if he wants to finish in 5 hours, okay, what does he need to do? Well, he's got a lower rate, so he's going to definitely have to increase it. Okay. So for the remainder of the event. So what would it be? So one of the following constraints around how Nate will need to change his average speed to catch him. Okay, so he only has 5 hours. So he's got 4 hours left, Nate does. And he has to cover 26 miles. So Nate has to cover 26 miles, and he's only got 4 hours to do it. So he's got to, on that last leg, be averaging 26 over 4. So that is 6.5 miles per hour he has to average on the last end of it. So he was going 4 miles per hour. So he needs to increase by 2.5. So he has to go from 4 to 6.5. Okay. Let's go to 57. The Math Club is selling t-shirts as a fundraiser. There is a linear relationship between X, the number of t-shirts sold, and Y, the profit in dollars from selling the t-shirts. When the club sells 6 t-shirts, it makes, okay, so I've got 2 ordered pairs here. X is the number of t-shirts. So this is 6, 10. And when it sells 10, it makes 20. So those are the 2 ordered pairs, X and Y. What is the slope here? The slope is 10 over 4, or 5 halves. So these guys are out. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use point, which one gives the relationship between X and Y. I'm going to use point slope. So this would be Y, I'm going to use this point right here. So Y minus 10 equals 5 halves times X minus 6. And then I'm going to distribute those 5 halves, and that's going to give me 5 halves X. 2 goes into 6, 3, so that would be minus 15. Add the 10, that makes that a minus 5. I'm liking E right there. There's my dog trying to get in. 58. For the following system of equations, what is Y equal to? Okay. What am I going to do here? What I'm going to do, a couple ways to do this. I'm going to call this 2 to the 5th, and this 2 to the 3rd. So that means basically I can rewrite this as X minus Y has to be 5, and X plus Y has to be 3, because I've matched the 2 bases on either side, which means I can just equate their exponents. This is set up as a system here by elimination. So 2x equals 2. So x is equal to 1, but I need y. So if x is 1, then y has to be 2. Now, if that's true, let's make sure that that doesn't look right. That does not look right. 2x equal, what am I doing here? 2x is equal to 8. X is equal to 4 when I add those together. Okay, so if x is 4, y is a negative 1. By plugging that back into that equation, subtracting 4 on both sides, I get y is equal to a negative 1. So that would be G. Just checking my answer is 2 to the 4 minus a negative 1 equal 32? It is 2 to the 5th. Over here is 2 to the 4 plus a negative 1 equal to 8. Yes, it is. I like that answer very much. 19 students are eligible to play doubles tennis. What is the maximum number of different two-person teams possible? So this is a combination question because I'm taking 19 people and I'm choosing them into groups of 2. So I need to do 19 choose 2. I'm using combination, not permutation, because the order would presumably not matter. With a pair of people, 2 people, either way they're selected first or second would be the same team. So what we do here is we do 19 factorial, right? This is n factorial over n minus r factorial, and then we divide by r factorial on the combination. So this would be permutations, but the combination I'm dividing by that. So that's 19 factorial over 17 factorial and 2 factorial. So this 17 factorial will cancel 17 and beyond. So this is basically 19 times 18 over 2. 2 goes into 18 9 times, 19 times 9, 1, 8, 171, like that. Okay, 60. In the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, coefficients a, b, and c are positive real numbers. If a is equal to c and both roots of the quadratic equation are real numbers, which of the following relations must hold between a and b? Well, if we're dealing with a quadratic equation and both of the roots are real, that's a question that deals with the discriminant. Right? The condition for there to be 2 real roots is that the discriminant has to be greater than 0. And they want me to come up with a relationship for A and B, and they're telling me that A and C are equal to each other. So that means I'm going to replace C with A. It's a substitution that I'm doing right here. So this becomes B squared minus 4A times A, or 4A squared greater than 0. Now, all of these answers have A isolated on one side, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the B squared here, move the A squared, the negative 4A squared over to the other side. I am going to divide by 4 and get rid of that. I will square root both sides. That's going to be a plus or minus B over 2, and that would be A. So A is less than B over 2, or equal to, or equal to, or equal to, or oh yeah, it could be 0, right? Because I still would have 2 roots. They would be the same root, but they'd be the same. So yeah, it's A is less than or equal to B over 2. That one. All right, we're done with that, students. Let's go back and grade it. I'm going to start back up at 51 and make sure we got these right. 51, A, G, and 53. They say it's C. Oh my gosh. 28 out of 90. 10 cookies of 3 types. I see my mistake. I see my mistake. This number is supposed to be 9 on all of these. See that? Because without replacement, without replacing, my number of cookies that I'm choosing from went down from 10 to 9, as did my number of the particular type of cookie going down by 1. So my denominators were all 90 here. Okay, there you go. Let's keep going. 54. 54 is F, A, and J. That one is right. Okay, and E, and G, and D and K. So those were all right. Let's see. I want to do one more thing here, class, before I let you all run. I do want to pull up the grading scale on this, just as one last thing to review. So let me pull it up here, and then we'll take a gander at it. And see what the scoring looks like for this. All right, let's go back. There we go. Now, it just so happens on this particular test, this doesn't happen certainly on all ACTs, but on this particular one, you could have missed one and still gotten a 36. Okay. So that's, I want to say, one of those questions I think was really strange, but I'm going to have to go back and look at those problems. But this is the score. So when you're doing these practice tests, and if you're not getting somebody to coach you on this, my advice is practice test, work practice test after practice test. Down in the description below, I'm going to put a link to a blog that has hyperlinks to all of the latest ACT and SAT tests along with the answers. And the best way to prep is to work practice tests, grade your practice tests, try to figure out how to get the right answer. And then if you cannot find a right answer, then you need to go get some coaching help from somebody. Ask a friend, ask a teacher, ask somebody who could help you figure out how to solve the problems that you could not figure out, even when you had the answer, to go back and look to see how to work it out. And that is it. I mean, there is no shortcut around bumping your score. It has to be you working practice problems and practice problems and practice problems and getting coaching on the ones that you couldn't figure out. And then there's, of course, some strategies too in terms of pacing. I'm not going to cover any of those here, but just wanted to do that. Okay, so thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you did find this helpful, hit the like button there, and also feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I will be putting out content throughout the school year, especially with AP Calc and Algebra 2. I'll be focusing on those two classes a lot this year, as well as doing ACT and SAT prep. All right, everybody, have a good night. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. And there's my dog saying goodbye. So long.